Welcome to Out of the Office Investigation into Personal Health Actualization. This time we're discussing Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health.
And this is such a fascinating topic. We're really getting into something fundamental for anyone interested in, the future of personalized health.
Absolutely. We're moving past the general probiotics everyone knows about and focusing on a single crucial member of our gut microbiome, Akkermansia muciniphila.
It's a real keystone species.
Yeah.
And it has this one very, very specific job. It's known for its unique ability to break down mucins.
Right. And today we're going to explore just how deep its influence goes. We'll start with its core job, maintaining the gut barrier. Then we'll look at its powerful effect on metabolic health. We're talking obesity, diabetes, cholesterol, all the big ones.
And then the really exciting part, its emerging connection to our brain, to our mental wellness, all through that gut-brain axis.
So to really get this, we have to start at the source, right? At the gut barrier itself.
Exactly. That's where Akkermansia does its most important work.
Okay, let's start there. You hear it called the gut barrier architect.
Yeah.
So what? What exactly is this organism, and why does it live in the mucus layer of all places?
Well, scientifically, it's a gram-negative,
Right.
obligatory anaerobe, which is really just a fancy way of saying it can't survive around oxygen.
Okay.
And in a healthy person, it's a big deal. It makes up about 1 to 5% of the entire gut microbiota. It's most concentrated way down in the colon.
So it has a preferred spot.
It does. And the reason we even know about it is pretty unique. When it was first cultured back in 2004, researchers figured out it would only grow if you fed it pure mucin. That was its only food source.
So its entire existence depends on this one thing. That's pretty specialized. It lives right there in the mucus, constantly interacting with our intestinal cells. But doesn't that sound, I don't know, a little destructive? If it's constantly eating the protective mucus layer, isn't that a bad thing?
That's the amazing paradox, isn't it? It seems like it should be, but it's the opposite. It maintains the barrier by consuming it.
How does that work?
It's a regenerative process. When Akkermansia breaks down the old mucin, that very action sends a signal to the cells underneath.
A signal to make more.
A signal to produce new mucin. So it's this constant cycle of renovation. It clears out the old to make way for the new, stronger layer.
Ah, I see. So it's actively preventing what people call leaky gut by keeping the barrier robust and constantly renewing itself.
Precisely. And what's more, it creates these incredibly beneficial byproducts while it's doing it. As it degrades the mucus, it produces short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs.
Okay, SCFAs. I know those are important. They're like little signaling molecules, right?
They're critical. Specifically, it makes acetate and propionate. And these do two major things. First, they're anti-inflammatory, so they calm down the immune system right there at the gut lining.
And second?
Second, they feed the other good bacteria. It's this process called cross-feeding. See, other microbes that make butyrate, which is the main fuel for our colon cells, they can't start from scratch. They need the acetate and propionate from Akkermansia to do their job.
Wow. So Akkermansia is literally feeding its neighbors, who then feed our own cells, all while it's reinforcing the wall that protects all of them.
It really is a keystone species, a true architect of its environment. When you have high levels, you generally have a healthy, thick mucosal layer and a thriving, diverse community.
Which means, conversely, that low levels are a problem.
A huge problem. Low Akkermansia is consistently linked to a weak barrier, and that weak barrier is, it's ground zero for the kind of chronic low-grade inflammation that drives things like IBD, obesity, and diabetes.
Okay, but we have to bring in some nuance here. The gut is a complex ecosystem. Can you have too much of a good thing? If its only job is eating mucin, could it overdo it?
That's the 10% contrary view we have to consider, and it's a valid one. Balance is everything. There is some evidence that if Akkermansia becomes overcolonized, if the balance gets thrown off, that unchecked consumption of mucin could actually thin the barrier too much.
So the goal isn't just to have tons of it.
No. The goal is a balanced, functional population. It's about harmony, not just volume. You're listening to the Out of the Office investigation into personal health actualization with research by author Paul Bullo.
Okay, so that's the foundation, the gut barrier. But what happens when those signals, those SCFAs and other molecules, get out into the rest of the body? To really frame this for you, our listener, what are the key elements for Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health when we look beyond the gut?
The key elements really center on two things: metabolic regulation and inflammation control. The link to metabolic diseases is just It's incredibly strong.
How so?
Well, there's a clear inverse correlation. The more Akkermansia someone has generally, the lower their body weight and BMI tend to be. This is a huge piece of evidence supporting the idea that the Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health is just central to staying metabolically fit.
And the clinical trials back this up with some pretty amazing results, don't they? We're seeing things like lower total cholesterol, actual fat loss, better glucose control, and higher insulin sensitivity.
Absolutely. A gut rich in Akkermansia seems to drive a leaner, healthier body type. And we're now starting to understand the specific mechanism behind it. It's not just the SCFAs.
Right, there's a specific protein involved.
Yes, it's a molecule on its outer membrane called muciniphila 1100. And this protein is a game changer.
So it's not just a byproduct, it's an active signaling molecule, like a key.
A perfect analogy. Muciniphila 1100 is the key that fits into a specific lock on our cells called the TLR2 receptor. And when it connects, it sets off a whole cascade of metabolic benefits. One of the most important is that it stimulates the release of GLP-1.
GLP-1 is everywhere right now. It's that powerful gut hormone that regulates appetite and blood sugar. So you're saying a protein on this one bacterium can directly trigger our body to release it?
That's exactly right. It's a direct mechanical link between this microbe and our body's energy balance. And that's why the research is getting so exciting, especially with pasteurized Akkermansia.
Why pasteurized? Because it's dead.
Yes. The bacterium is no longer alive, so it can't colonize the gut and potentially overgrow. But that mucosal 100 protein is still there, still perfectly intact and functional. It can still hit that TLR2 receptor and do its job.
Yeah.
It makes it a much safer, more controllable therapeutic.
And we have human data on this. The trial with overweight, insulin-resistant subjects, it was pretty definitive.
It really was. After 3 months of taking pasteurized Akkermansia, they saw significant improvements in insulin sensitivity, a nearly 9% drop in total cholesterol compared to the placebo, and measurable weight and fat loss. That's not just correlation, that's intervention.
So that's the metabolic side. What about inflammation on a broader scale?
It's just as critical. Akkermansia is constantly interacting with our immune cells in the gut, sort of, training them. It helps regulate T-cell function and encourages the release of anti-inflammatory signals, or cytokines.
It's like a calming influence.
Exactly. By keeping the barrier strong and the microbial community balanced, it helps the immune system not to overreact. It helps it tell the difference between a real threat and, just a piece of food passing by. It stabilizes the whole system.
A stable physical system, a calm immune response that just has to have an impact on our minds. It feels like such a direct link.
So let me answer this directly. Can the Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health improve our mental health while supporting physical optimum performance?
And the research is screaming an enthusiastic yes to that. It's one of the most promising frontiers. The gut-brain axis is real, and Akkermansia seems to be a major player.
Does it come back to that same protein, muciniphila 1100?
It does. It's the star of the show again. In studies with mice, this one protein has been shown to relieve chronic stress-induced anxiety and even depression-like behaviors.
What's it doing in the brain? Well, it's regulating neurotransmitter levels, specifically 5-HT, which is serotonin. Akkermansia actually promotes the creation of serotonin and makes it more available, both in the gut and in the brain, again, through that same TLR2 signaling pathway.
That's incredible. So a microbe in your gut is directly influencing the chemistry of your primary mood-stabilizing neurotransmitter.
The systems are completely integrated, and it goes beyond mood. The neuroprotective effects are also really promising. For instance, in mouse models of Alzheimer's disease, you see low levels of Akkermansia, but when you supplement it back in, you see improvements in cognitive deficits and less amyloid plaque.
So if we were to put it all together for you, our listener, let me ask, how can Akkermansia bacteria support mental and physical health?
It's a two-pronged approach, really. On the physical side, it's all about that barrier integrity and metabolic optimization, regulating energy, controlling cholesterol, calming systemic inflammation. And on the mental side, it's the sum of those physical benefits plus the direct line to your brain through SCFA production, that incredible optimic 1100 protein, and the modulation of serotonin. This whole body effect from one little microbe.
But again, we have to look at the whole picture. We saw some contradictory findings, didn't we, in conditions like multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's, where sometimes patients have higher levels of Akkermansia. How do we square that?
That's where we have to be so careful about confusing correlation with causation. There could be so many other factors. In Parkinson's, for example, gut transit time can slow down, which might just give the bacteria more time to grow.
Or it could be medications. We know certain drugs can completely change the gut landscape.
Right. Or And this is a really interesting idea. The increase could be the body's own attempt to fix the problem, a compensatory response. Maybe the body is trying to boost its barrier builders to fight back against the disease-related inflammation.
That makes sense. It just shows how complex this is, and it reinforces why using a controlled, pasteurized form is probably the smarter therapeutic path forward.
Exactly. It avoids all that uncertainty.
Okay, this has been an incredible journey through the body. Let's try to synthesize all of this into something really actionable for you.
I think the first, most basic takeaway is clear. Akkermansia bacteria can be linked to an overall healthy body. The evidence for its role in metabolism, inflammation, and even mental health is just undeniable at this point.
It really is. And to build on that, the Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health aligns our bodies to a healthy environment for both mental and physical success. A healthy gut isn't just a bonus. It's the foundation.
Which leads us to an even broader conclusion. The Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health suggests our body's health is connected to our diet, actions, nutrition, sunlight, fresh air, our entire lifestyle.
You can't separate it. We have to think about what we're doing to support or harm this crucial species. Things like chronic stress or a diet loaded with added sugar, those things disrupt the balance and starve out beneficial microbes like Akkermansia.
So we have to become gardeners of our gut. You can't eat Akkermansia itself, but you can certainly feed it. You can cultivate it with a diet rich in prebiotics and polyphenols.
So let's get specific. For prebiotics, you want those fermentable fibers. Think artichokes, bananas, onions, garlic, asparagus, oats, apples, flaxseed. Avocado is another great one.
And for polyphenols, just think color. Deep, rich colors. Berries, especially cranberries and raspberries, green tea, plums, beans, nuts like hazelnuts and pecans. The more colors you have on your plate, the wider the range of beneficial compounds you're providing.
So the final crucial takeaway has to be this. Understanding the Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health and how to make healthy daily choices for diet, behaviors, and medical care is critical to our physical and mental health and recovery from hypertension.
That holistic view is everything. And the research, especially on that AMIC 1100 protein and its ability to stimulate GLP-1, it shows us where this is all heading. The future isn't just general probiotics, it's highly targeted, specific microbial components designed for widespread health benefits.
That is a truly provocative thought, moving from just adding bacteria to using their specific tools to fine-tune our own biology. Thank you for walking through this with me.
My pleasure. We really hope you continue to explore these incredible links between your gut health, your mental clarity, and your success in life. We'll talk to you next time.